today we're going to do mindfulness with the breath and just following our breath. And the important thing is, just like Jiu Jitsu doesn't start and stop when we put our gi on, the meditation doesn't start and stop when you hear the bell. Try to take the peace and the mental kind of space that you get into in these 5 minutes, and when you hear that bell go off, don't just jump right off and get ready to go, but try to take that same feeling into these techniques so that you're acting from a place of pure kind of learning and being open. We're trying to cultivate a little sense of wonder. I always say that the goal of meditation is kind of like, enlightenment's kind of like being a 5-year-old, where you just walk in and everything's new and fresh, and you're not tied to your judgments on it. So I've done a lot of retreat work, and my kind of meditation stuff is influenced by a lot of different people, but most, like Jiu Jitsu, there's a lot of overlap. So when we're sitting, one of the main points they make is to have your knees kind of touching the ground. If you want to be super fancy and do all the lotus stuff, you know, if you bend that way and it's comfortable, cool. But really, that's not nearly as important. It's just being comfortable where if your knees can touch the ground, let them touch the ground. Okay? Then we're going to have, just kind of like in life, we want our head, our heart, and our hips kind of in alignment. When things get out of alignment, we can kind of end up in trouble in different ways. So we want to sit with a straight posture. A lot of people talk about falling asleep in meditation or not being able to get into the Zen space. It's got very little to do with that. Our basic practice is to follow the breath. So once we get into a comfortable posture of a straight spine, if you're going to do this at home and you do find yourself fall asleep, you can stand up or you can have your back with a little bit of support. But if you start leaning on things, that tends to when you get sleepy and really fall. So if you can stay just seated without any support, it's the best. So head above heart, heart above hips. We're going to let our arms, you can have a couple different hand positions. If you're looking kind of to get a little bit of acceptance and accepting some more advice or whatever bubbles up, you can have your hands up like you're accepting something. If you're looking to be more grounded and really root down and kind of get out of your mental space, your hands can go down on the tops of your knees or just fold it into your lap. Try to have a little space between like your tricep, and so you're not in tight, but also not that you're sitting out like you want to get comored. So a little space there, just let the air breathe in. And our goal is going to be to follow the breath from any of the points that it feels the best to you. Some people are going to notice the breath right at the tip of the nostril, some might in the back of the throat, some might feel it in the chest or lungs, belly, doesn't matter where, but we're just going to follow without any judgment. So just like in Jiu Jitsu when we're training a lot of times, we're like, oh man, I'm not getting this, and that self-talk gets going, just let go of all that. We're just going to follow the breath. You don't need to change it until I tell you to kind of play with it, but we're just going to observe, okay? So basics, head, heart, hips, a little freedom in the arms. Your head positioning, again, just like the hands, if you want more, you're looking for kind of answers, pretend you're looking at about a 3rd-story building and you're looking up kind of at the sky. If you're trying to just get balanced and you want a level head, then have a level head and just look out more towards the horizon. If you want to be, again, more grounded and let your head tilt a little, not your neck where your whole posture falls, but you're just going to let your gaze kind of fall a little bit forward. So those are the 3 different kind of head positions. Up if you're looking for more inspiration, level if you're just trying to kind of zen out, and then down if you're really trying to root down. Okay? Questions about any of that? It's all really basic stuff, but once you're into, like, we're not going to do an hour, but once you're into the later minutes and hours, those little tips, like, they add up. Just like in Jiu Jitsu when we're going to look at posture in the guard, all that stuff adds up as well. So what we'll do is, if you want to have your eyes open, you can have your eyes open. Eyes closed, I think, is usually pretty easier for everybody, but it's whatever you prefer. Again, key is just no judgment. just follow along. We're just going to do a couple minutes to drop into class, and then we'll start with some jiu-jitsu. Okay? So the first thing I want you to do is on this first in-breath through the nose, bring your shoulders up really high to your ears and kind of squeeze them in so you've got a little bit of shake to it on your in-breath. And then on your out-breath, just let it all melt and just fall. Good. Now the next in-breath, we're going to be squeezing our hands really tight. So in, squeeze the hands, out, and just release. And do the same thing with our gut, our abs. So in, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Out, just let it all melt and relax away. You don't have to do anything to your breath right now. It's just monitoring it. You see where it goes. See which point along your breath is the most comfortable to notice. Is it at the nostril? Is it deeper in the throat? Is it in the chest? And we continue to just follow this in-breath and out-breath, letting our thoughts just fade away. If thoughts come in, you can just label yourself thinking, and then let go. If you're having a hard time settling down, let your out breath be a little bit more extended than your in breath. Your thoughts are invading kind of your space. You can tell yourself in on the in-breath and out on the out-breath. Things distract you and pull you away, that's fine, that's natural. The goal is just to acknowledge that and then come right back to following your breath. In on the inhale, out on the exhale. We're almost there. When you hear the bell, again, just remember, try to keep this space, this peace that you created. as we go into technique.